Hello, I'm Jamie Forrester and welcome to The Basement. This is the show where we chat about clubs from the lower leagues. Today on the show, on my left first of all, is calling midfielder David Hunt.
How you doing? You okay?
We also have with us Brentford goalkeeper Richard Lee.
Good evening.
And esteemed football writer Alan Briggs.
Thank you very much indeed, Jamie.
Thanks for joining us, guys. Welcome. First of all, how's it been going? Richard, been training today? How's it all been going for the weekend?
Indeed, yeah, training this morning, and it's looking good. We've got a tough one at home to Wrexham. We were doing very well in the conference. And yeah, it's been going well. We're we're there or thereabouts in the league and the cup competition. So far so good.
David, you've had the tash for Movember. I see that's all gone. We're obviously going to get some clips of that a bit later on. But are you glad that's left you now?
Yeah, I think my missus is happy about that now. But it was quite entertaining seeing our gaffer having it. But yeah, no, it was all for good cause, and so yeah, it's nice to get rid of now. Okay, well now in December, Christmas party season. What are the plans at Crawley? Yeah, this year we've got our plans. We're not going to be near Crawley. We're going to be away for a weekend and organising a few little fancy dresses and secret Santas. So yeah, we've got lots up our sleeve, but it's all team bonding, and I think most clubs will do it.
Are you the one organising all this?
Well, I'm involved. I'm part of the committee. So every club, most of them have committee members. And yeah, I'm definitely have a quite big say in what happens, and if we're not happy, then I think me and my car school as well, we try and get involved in making sure the decision goes our way.
What about Steve Evans? Is he invited to the Christmas party?
He's always invited. We're trying to get some money off him at the moment, so we'll wait.
Will he turn up though? Will he come?
Oh, I doubt it. I think the staff have their own separate dues, but yeah, if he wants to come, he can definitely bring his cash.
Okay, excellent. Well then, thanks for that. Okay, so this week we see a break from the league. Moving on to the FA Cup. Big games for you. Obviously, you're both doing very well in the league at prospective clubs. Who have you got this weekend, David?
We've got Redbridge at home, and okay. Yeah, they've done well. Like we did last year, we had Man United, and you can cause upsets, so it isn't one that we're going to take lightly. The gaffer's definitely got us drilled in training all this week. We're making sure we know what they're like and how we're going to go about it. And so yeah, we've got our heads focused for that game.
Richard, who have you got this weekend?
Yeah, Wrexham at home, who have been doing very well. In round one we had Basingstoke, and we were given a firm test. We only won 1-0, and in truth probably didn't deserve to win 1-0. So we know what to expect, and obviously Wrexham will be the fact they're doing as well as they are in the conference. I'm sure it'll be a tough challenge, but hopefully we can put up a good display and progress.
Yeah, David, obviously round two, like you said last year, you were lucky enough to get Man United. It can happen again this year. Is that always the dream for a lower league player?
Oh, definitely, yeah. I never thought I'd get a chance to play at Old Trafford, and I already have. So yeah, we're aiming even higher. We know what's expected, and we know we can achieve it. So we only have ourselves to blame if we don't try and get anywhere near there.
Well, talking of that game, we have some clips of last year of you swapping shirts with Wayne Rooney.
This is a present from my partner, birthday present, when we played Man United in the FA Cup last year. At Old Trafford, managed to get hold of Rooney's shirt, and yeah, my partner very kindly got it framed for me, and it's a great piece of memorabilia, really. So I stuck it here in the hallway. Here we've got another shirt. We were given two shirts at the time, one to give away and one to keep for memento. So I got all the lads that were involved in that game to sign it, and yeah, sits there. I'm very proud of that. Don't have much memorabilia, but that is definitely one that I'm very proud of.
Had you targeted Rooney's shirt?
No, not at all. But he came on, he played next. I was marking him most of the game, and when the final whistle went, he was marking me for a free kick, and then so I literally just asked him as soon as final whistle went, and he was kind enough to take mine and give me his. So yeah, it was great experience. It was a shame because we gave him a great run for their money as well. But all in all, yeah, it was a great day.
Well, that's great, isn't it? Obviously, Wayne Rooney, that's a fantastic special moment for you. Richard, have you got anyone's goalkeeper's gloves or anybody's shirt that you've played with over the years?
Yeah, I got a couple actually. I was fortunate enough, I was back up to Ben Foster in the Premier League a few years ago. So the few games I did get, made sure I got Shay Givens, Brad Friedels and Van der Sar. So they're, as David said in his piece, it's great bits of memorabilia and days you'll never forget.
Cool, that's excellent. Bearing that in mind, you've got Redbridge on Saturday, and I do believe that you've tweeted Dan Trinkle, and you've promised him your shirt after this weekend's cup game.
Yeah, I have. I've said that I've got to get permission first because we're not like United. We don't just have shirts to throw away, so I'll probably end up having to pay for it. But like I said, it's all part of what the FA Cup's all about, so I'll be glad
Excellent. I mean, that just shows that obviously the big players like Rooney will give their shirts away, but I mean, how much would you have to pay out your wages for the shirt to give away? Have you asked yet?
30, 40, 50 quid roughly. I don't know how much shirts are now, but yeah, I'll probably. But like I said, it's all part of the cause, and I'll do it anytime.
No, it's nice that these players, value you just like you value Wayne Rooney, I suppose, isn't it?
Yes, I'm honoured.
Yeah. David.
Alan.
You've been quiet. Alan, sorry.
I'm very quiet. You've not asked me anything.
No, I haven't. Are you at a cup game this weekend?
Yeah, I'll be going to Sheffield United at home to Torquay, and I can't contribute to the previous conversation because I haven't got anybody's prize shirt. I think, David, that's the time to quit, isn't it? When you swapped a shirt with Wayne Rooney.
40 quid. I'll give you mine if you want.
Deal. I'll give you 50.
Well, I think we'll come more onto the Sheffield teams shortly after the break. But I do believe we've got Russell Slade on the phone, Leyton Orient manager. Can you hear me, Russell?
Yeah, I'm there, Jamie.
How are you doing, sir? Nice to speak to you after so long.
Yes, are you well?
I'm very well, thank you, sir. Yeah, welcome to the show. As we've been discussing there, you've got your cap on in that picture. Is that the same cap you wore 10 years ago when you was at Northampton, or you got a new one now?
No, I think I left that on the dance floor when when you were at Northampton as well.
What are you trying to hide there, Russ? What are you trying to hide?
No, I've had a few caps, as you know, in my time, and obviously it's an Orient cap at the minute, but I've already broken one or two, I have to tell you.
Well, great to have you on the show tonight. Obviously, FA Cup second round this weekend. Who have you got?
We got Gillingham at home.
Okay. So obviously you were lucky enough to draw Arsenal last year. Had a great day at the Emirates. Is that something you're hoping to repeat this year?
Yeah. It took us really to the fifth round to get that that mega tie, if you like. We earned it because we were away from home in most of those ties, away to Droylsden, away to Dagenham, and then away to Swansea and away to Norwich. So we kind of earned that game at home against Arsenal. It was a great journey for us. We enjoyed every single minute, and of course we got a nice little vacation at the end of it to Vegas. So it's all worthwhile. But as you know, Jamie, they don't come along every single season, but you've got to enjoy them. The smaller club has to enjoy them when they do come along, and we had a great time last season.
Well, you do. I suppose you've got to get that balance right between enjoying the day, haven't you, and actually, bucking down and trying to get a positive result or get something out of the game, haven't you? Yeah,
absolutely. We try to prepare, obviously, like we would any other game, and make sure that we do the thing right, and particularly, I think, in the early rounds when sometimes you can be drawn against a non-league team, which we have been in the last two seasons, and you've got to do your jobs properly because they're not shocks really any longer, Jamie, are they? There's so many every single season that really it doesn't surprise you.
Yeah. Well, Russell, stay on the line. We've actually got a Leyton Orient fan who's going to drill you with some questions, I think, so stay on your toes. Matt, are you there?
I am.
Evening. How are you doing? You okay? Are you there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Cool. Yes, thank you. We've got Russell Slade here for you. So, if there's any questions you'd like to put to him, I think he's all ears.
Great. Firstly, Russell, I think I just want to say on behalf of all fans, I think we're absolutely thrilled that you've signed a new contract. That's great news.
Thank you.
I guess my question is, with the benefit of hindsight now, what do you think went so wrong at the start of this season?
I think it's dangerous to nail it down to one single thing or one single problem. I think they're just accumulation of things. I mean, I think I've done over 500 games now, and for the first time ever, I've lost three keepers, and in fact a fourth keeper didn't even start the season. My first choice keeper didn't even start. Dutcher came in and done a great job for us. But then I wanted to change that as well. The Spurs keeper came in, Button, and he did well for 2 games, got injured. And then I got another keeper from Spurs, and he got injured, and I went back to Butcher. So, I mean, that was the start in terms of the goalkeeping. So, and then there were 1 or 2 that had long-term injuries, like Forbes didn't come into it until late. And it's just been a catalogue, really, of injuries. I have to say, that we probably wouldn't have coped with those injuries last season that we've got this season. But because, for me, in terms of the depth of squad, it is stronger at the start of this season. I think we've been able to cope by and large, and we've got stronger as players have come back into contention. But I don't know. Some may say it's an hangover from last season because it was so successful. But I'd beg to differ a little bit. I think it might have had a slight indication from that. But honestly think it's an accumulation of things really, and one or two new players coming in that took a bit of time to bed down. I know that's a bit long-winded, but it is because, I don't think it's one problem. I think it's normally a series of things before you get going.
Russell, Alan Biggs here. Apart from
Alan, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, good.
I've got a question. Apart from the question, have you bought my book yet? Which is the main one. The second one.
You asked me that last time.
Yes. Have you not bought it yet?
Is it not selling or what?
Well, no, it could do with you buying it. Double the sales, Russell. But I saw you early season at Chesterfield, and I think your revival maybe started around that time. You forced a draw. It was quite an entertaining goalless draw at my team, Chesterfield. But you were making the point then that somehow you seem to do this, start a season badly and then very quickly kick on.
Yeah, traditionally my sides haven't started well, and probably that's something I've got to look at, in the pre-season and the build-up to the start of the season, because, I'm always looking to get that good start to the season, as we all are, but I don't very often seem to get it. But my teams do normally improve as the seasons go on, and that's proved to be the case this time, as it was last season. I think we didn't get off to a great start last season, but we progressed as the season went on, and it is, at the end of the day, it is a marathon. So to be getting better is a good thing. It's not a negative thing.
Matt, we've got time for one last question. Russell Slade's here. Anything else you want to ask him?
Yeah, so Russell, in terms of having a squad that's capable of pushing for the playoffs, what do you think are the missing pieces of the jigsaw now?
Yeah, there are pieces. There are always pieces for a manager, aren't there? You're always looking for that last 1, 2, 3 players that might push you on. And well, I think Matt, we're not a million miles away. I will say that we've had to work hard and change the way we play to just dig ourselves out this little bit of a hole that we've been in. I'd like to think we could loosen up a little bit particularly at home over the coming games, and be a little bit more positive going forward to ensure we get results. But yeah, always looking for one or two, and obviously when the window's open, it'll always be interesting to see whether we can do that or we can't do that. But the nucleus of the side, I have to say, the nucleus of the side is well capable. And you have to say, I mean, there's players like who was such an influence coming off the bench last season, who's hardly played, is John Tahui. We've not had his services, as you know. Cox is out at the minute, so it's gone on, but it can't go on like that. And other teams, may get that sort of crisis halfway through the season. And touch wood that the worst of our injury worries are over, and we can get a fully strength squad, firing on all cylinders and good competition for places over the remainder of the season. If that's the case, then there's no reason why we can't fly up the table.
Well, thanks very much, Russell. Thank you for your time. Thanks for joining us tonight. We all wish you the best of luck at the weekend, and hopefully you'll pull another draw in round 3. Matt, did you get the answers that you wanted from Russell Slade there?
Yeah, we've got a lot of faith in Russell. Even at the start of the season, we had a terrible start to the season, but I think the fans still backed him. He's injected a real fighting spirit into the team. He's really passionate. It didn't go so well at the start of the season, but I really believe that now we're going to push forward, and I think he's the right man to take us forward. So yeah, it's great to speak to him. Okay, Matt, well, thank you for your time. Thanks for being up on the Skype wall. We'll talk to you again shortly. We're end of part 1 now. We're going to take a short break. We're back for part 2 very shortly. Oh, hi, welcome back. This is part 2. We have David Hunt, Crawley midfielder, Richard Lee, Brentford goalkeeper, and we also have Alan Biggs, esteemed writer. Alan, we're going to now talk about the two Sheffield clubs, Sheffield United, Sheffield Wednesday, both in
League One this season, a little bit of rarity for both of those. How do you see that panning out this season?
Well, I see them both in the top 6. There's a rare optimism in Sheffield. There's been a lot of depression in recent times, but I think there is genuine belief now right across the city in both camps that they can both get promotion, but it's a tough squeeze, isn't it? The feeling is that one or the other could well miss out, and certainly you'd expect maybe one of them to be in the playoffs and having to settle for that most precarious of routes. But sometimes it takes bottoming out for a major club to come round again. Things come in cycles, and there is that optimism. It's an exciting season up in Sheffield. You know, it could have been a time of great gloom with both of them in the 3rd tier for the first time in many a year. But actually there's a lot of buoyancy around the city.
Do you think the expectation levels are manageable in Sheffield? I mean, they've both got huge crowds backing them. When they're doing well, those crowds are going to be bigger and bigger. Do you think the expectation level is manageable up in Sheffield? Do you think they can both be what they once were?
Yeah, I think they can be. Things do go in cycles. In my time, I've seen Manchester United outside of the top flight. I've seen Aston Villa in the 3rd tier. You know, and these things do come around again. Leeds United had a spell and had a real job in getting out of what is a really, really tough league. Southampton and Peterborough, getting promoted last season, have shown really what the standard's like by both doing well, particularly Southampton at the level up. So it just shows you about the quality there. But in handling those expectations, they both have got to look to get, particularly Sheffield Wednesday, the type of mentality of player, not just the ability of player, not just the quality, the mentality to play at Hillsborough. Sheffield United shouldn't have that problem about Bramall Lane and the big crowds there, because many of their players have played higher up, including the top flight. And yet Wednesday have got that near impregnable home record. If there's anything that might count against them this weekend, and you talk about the crowds, Jamie, is that these two ties relative to people in Sheffield are not particularly attractive. Torquay at Bramall Lane, Aldershot at Hillsborough. And the one thing above anything else that those two lower clubs have got going for them, possibly, is the lack of atmosphere. The lack of atmosphere tends to count against the home club in situations, and the away fans can be as noisy as the home fans. Yeah. They're both at home on the same day, both kicking off at 3 o'clock, so clearly neither's going to get 15 or 16,000, maybe 7 or 8, 9, something like that.
Yeah, Richard, you play in League One.
Yeah.
Are these the sort of fixes you look for at the start of the season, going away to Bramall Lane?
Yeah, well, I was going to say, I think that's what they've both done so well, in that they are big games, and for a lot of the teams in League One, it is it's the biggest game of the season. They're the two biggest clubs in the division as far as I'm concerned. So, and it's, I guess it's natural to raise your game when playing against the likes of Wednesday and Sheffield United.
Well, Richard here, as a member of a team, the only team that's actually got anything at Hillsborough this season.
Well, I didn't want to say myself.
And he was in goal.
Was you in goal?
Yeah, 0-0 draw, wasn't it?
0-0 draw, so got a clean sheet.
So he kept a clean sheet as well. I mean, obviously,
delighted.
are these the games that other teams in League One will raise the game for? Like you say, you'll go to Bramall Lane, go to Sheffield Wednesday, and you'll raise your game like it's a cup final.
It's generally, because you'll go into games like this, and it's almost the benchmark. You go into the games and it's right. This is the top of the division. We, like you say, 15 to 25,000. I'm trying to think what it was at Wednesday. It was 20 plus, I believe.
20 odd, I think.
Yeah, and that's fantastic. Like you say, the players you're playing against have all played a high level and are all ready to play at the high level. I mean, let's be honest, both clubs shouldn't be in League One. So it's a great test, and this is the benchmark. If we can go there and get a result, as we did against Sheffield Wednesday, the confidence it injects into us is huge. So, we're well aware of that, and I think it's something that perhaps makes it slightly harder for the Sheffield clubs.
I think you're right. It's a big game for the opposition, the teams that go there, but not necessarily a big game for the likes of the Blades and the Owls.
Okay, we're going to go to the Skype. Well, we've got Terry, who's a Sheffield Wednesday fan. Is that right, Terry?
It sure is.
Welcome to the show. Nice to see you. What are your thoughts on this week's cup events up in Sheffield?
Well, I'm just listening to Alan's comments in regards to the atmosphere and things. He's probably right. The away team could use that to their advantage, because there's going to be one of our main stands closed as well. But we've got a winning mentality at the minute, and Gary Megson likes the FA Cup, so I'm sure he's going to get the players wanting to win. It's not a case of, some people would say that in the Johnston's Paint game that he didn't want to win. He's obviously never going to really say that. but he wants to win this. He's already said he counts the FA Cup as an important competition, and personally speaking, it is to me. The dream for me when I was 6, 7-year-old was scoring the winner in the FA Cup final. So, as far as I'm concerned, it's massive. So, I do think we'll win, but I'm not taking it for granted by any stretch.
Yeah, okay. Well, stay where you are, Terry. We've also got David on the Skype wall, who's a Sheffield United fan. Are you there, David?
I am. How's it going?
How you doing? You all right?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad.
What are your feelings ahead of this weekend's cup ties?
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. It's been fairly interesting for cup games this season compared to the olden days of Warnock and Blackwell when we didn't really take competition seriously, especially early rounds. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. We've done a fairly good job in the last 2 cups. The JP Trophy, we sort of got a fair way in that, and the Carling Cup did all right. Got to Everton, so I don't know. We'll give it a good go. Nice to advance a bit.
I think, David, you will give it a good go, as will Sheffield Wednesday, and I think you've got probably 2 traditionalists as managers there in their approach to this competition, which has been much diminished, but you'll get no disrespect from Gary Megson, certainly not from Danny Wilson, who's applied that, as you say, in every competition, hasn't he, in the JP as well?
Definitely. I mean, I thought JP, I couldn't see us going far in that. I could see us fielding weak teams, but I mean, apart from the performance against Bradford, we've done what we've needed to do. We've not really kind of wasted first team players, at least not it's not massively affected our league run. So we've done all right so far. I think it's good to see us progressing in these, at least putting up a fight, and we'll see if we can get any big teams in later rounds if we can get past Torquay. And
I think there's a Gary Speed element to it that Sheffield United and their fans will really want to put on a show today. I was at the Bramall Lane car park earlier on and saw the hundreds of scarves and the tributes laid there. That event will hang heavy, won't it, at Bramall Lane? The players, a lot of them will have known Gary Speed, and they will be devastated, so upset about what's happened, but at the end of the day, they'll want to put on a performance for him.
Definitely. I mean, you look at Leeds the other night, they did him proud, not really going to get much credit from a Sheffield fan about Leeds fans, but they were exceptional, and I think their team played up for it, and hopefully we can do the same.
David, thank you for joining us on the Skype wall. Terry, you're still with us? I think David's got a question for you.
Terry.
Hiya.
David Hunt. Yeah, I've got a question for you, actually. In regards to the Cup, would you rather Sheffield Wednesday get to, say, the semi-finals, quarter round semi-finals, or would you prefer to them just be out and focus mainly on the league?
Well,
and near enough be guaranteed to take a promotion.
The ideal is promotion this year. But as I've already said, I do like the FA Cup, but we can't. We're in a position where we need to progress in the league. It's a cliche, but the league is the bread and butter. And we've been on the down slope. We're certainly on the up slope now, and it's all about momentum. As I've already said, Gary Megson's going to take this seriously, and if we're out, he'll be disappointed. But we move on to next weekend. If we're through, brilliant. We still move on to the league, and this is the thing. The mentality is win every game. If it doesn't happen this weekend, well, yeah, it's disappointing, but arguably, losing at this stage isn't as disappointing as losing next weekend. Now, if you ask me this question and we were in the quarter-final stage, well, I might change my mind. But
that's a great attitude for a player's perspective, for fans, knowing that fans are like that. It does take a bit of pressure off them if they do know that. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to cut across you there, Terry. I'm sorry, we're going to have to take a break there. Thank you very much for joining us on the Skype wall. After the break, it will be joining David Hunt in the life of a professional footballer. This is The Basement. Back soon for part 3. Welcome back. This is The Basement. This is part 3. We're now going to see what it's like, the day in the life of a lower league footballer. We've got David Hunt, who's in the chair today, but we joined David earlier in the week, and here's the VT.
wow.
He's only done one
First
already.
rule of car school is no windows. Someone does a fart, or I'll have to breathe it in herself, okay? Language. Oh, take 2.
Can you smell it? Oh my days.
And here's number 1 just on its way.
Tuesday's a hard day. Usually if we don't have a midweek game, then Tuesdays making sure we keep our fitness levels up and having a hard day, but yeah, it's all good fun still. Might see a few players chucking up in the bush, but it's not bad.
Scott, are you being chucking up in the bush?
Yes. I'm usually the one that's complaining about it because I'm a goalkeeper, so I shouldn't be doing it really, but I get made to do it.
So out of the car, who's the best trainer?
The best trainer?
Yeah.
I think we're all equal
rubbish.
in different ways. There's no bad trainers at our club, to be honest with you, because if they are, they get dug out. Really. Otherwise, you got a lot of good professionals. So I think that's why we're doing quite well in the league, to be honest with you. We've got some bad drivers, though.
Anyone in particular?
Well, I wouldn't name names, but
yeah.
Yeah, it's our new training ground that we've been in since the beginning of the season. It's really nice, very lucky. Got great facilities here, so for a club that were having financial difficulties a couple of years ago, yeah, we've really progressed now, and it just shows what ambition the club's got, and we're trying to push forward. So, welcome to the new training ground. Two changing rooms.
Oh, cheeky. Oh,
Wait, I'm tempted yet.
Get some blood in it first.
we have a laugh, do we?
That's the lowest one, that one. No. Yeah? Yeah. Does this thing not come off? I don't know. That's the only thing I've got.
What's that for?
Eh?
I've got some.
Eh? You got one on you? Yeah. Well, yeah, I think I will then. Then if this thing will take it off, just trying to trim it up, make it a bit even.
Should be in wash bag.
Games room. Serge, Ty. Hey? Every morning and after training we have a few games.
I wouldn't know yesterday.
It's quite tight, to be honest, but I think... What's the score of your games, Tubbsy?
5-3. 5-3.
5-3 you? Yeah. That's what you call hit and hope. Dookie, you coming out? Not always, but there are days when I do appreciate how lucky I am. I really do, because I've got a lot of friends that are working like 9 to 5 or more. Some that don't get to see their kids before they go to work, and some that come home and probably see them for about half an hour, and then they go to bed. So in that sense, I get a lot of time with my family, and I really do appreciate how lucky I am in that sense. But yeah, it doesn't always feel like it's a job, and sometimes it does, but I'm very lucky. Now, I got scouted when I was 8 years old by Crystal Palace, and I never for once thought I'd be a professional footballer then. But as I was progressing through the years, then I started to realise, yeah, I could actually have this as my job, which is great. And then so I'd say from around like early teens, 13 maybe, probably started to realise, yeah, I could actually play for Crystal Palace maybe and make a future of playing football. So, and it's been great. You don't worry as such, but you have to think. Like, I've got 2 kids, a mortgage that I've got to look after, and in the lower leagues, don't get me wrong, you get paid well still, but it's not enough to then say that you can just retire and not have to worry about all these things, because you do. So you look elsewhere, but it's all good fun. I like change, I like challenges, and I've still got a fair few years left in my career, but I'm definitely looking beyond that to see what else I can do. So this is my nut roast. Oh, it's come out lovely as well. Simple to make, even better to taste. There you have it.
Yeah, very interesting piece that, David. I mean, as an ex-player, I get people kind of thinking, you know, they see the Premier League and they think that all footballers have got a very similar life, but you know, we saw different on that clip.
Yeah, no, it's definitely different, that's for sure. Car, school, I don't think many Prem players will be sharing rides in. Yeah, it's definitely a different lifestyle, but one I'm enjoying. Don't get me wrong, I love it to bits, so I couldn't knock it one bit.
Richard, same for you. I mean, as a goalkeeper, people think, as a footballer in general, that, you know, you've got the dream job, and don't get me wrong, you know, I've been fortunate enough to do it. It is a great job, but it is different to how people perceive it, isn't it?
Yeah, no, you know, first thing, like you say, hugely fortunate, hugely privileged, and I think it's keeping sight of that, because, like you say, you know, we all want to be playing in the Premier League and earning the crazy money and whatever, but you know, we are earning good money in, you know, although it isn't to those levels, it is very good, and it's a fantastic life. You know, you train for 2 hours a day, and I mean, despite that, footballers probably moan more than anyone, but it's fantastic, you know. And I do think, like David said in the bit there, it is important to keep an eye on what to do afterwards, because it is a great life for now. I think we all realise that it will come to an end one day, and when it does, it's obviously important. You know, I mean, obviously talking to yourself, you know, I guess you retired a couple of years ago. It's something you must have experienced yourself.
It is. I think it's one of those things, you know, when you're a player, you know, when you get to your 30s and, you know, your mid-30s, it's going to come to an end. But until you actually come out of the game and you stop playing, it does hit you quite hard. I mean, I was fortunate enough to prepare a little bit, you know, to go into life after football. But it is something, you know, I mean, going back, people have a misconception that all footballers are millionaires, don't they? I mean, you know, Crawley obviously come from non-league. The wages are nowhere near that, are they?
No, not at all, don't get me wrong, and they're being shouted about that they're spending the money, but by no means could any of our lads retire from football and live comfortably without having another job. So yeah, no, it's something that we always have to keep our eye on. But the problem is when you're early on in your career, you don't really look at that. It's when you get nearer the end of your career and you start thinking, well, what should I do? That's where sometimes the PFA come in and help you out with courses and stuff. Or you can come up with things like our websites, or I don't know, you can try little things away from it. I know you've got a few companies, haven't you?
Yeah. Well, on that note, you know, you're speaking about a few of the lads, a couple of lads at Brentford are doing like plumbing courses, electrician courses, which, you know, I guess people outside probably wouldn't imagine the lads doing that, but it is great, and the PFA are actually very, very good, and they do help like fund some of these courses and offer these courses, and it's something that I'm trying to get into myself as well, because it's, you know, trying to add value to yourself, and you know, as you mentioned, I've tried to set up 1 or 2 things outside to hopefully allow me to, you know, continue the sort of lifestyle that I've got now when my playing days are over.
That's right. Okay, on the line we have the Redbridge chairman, who you're facing on Saturday, David. Dan Holloway, you there, Dan?
How you doing? Yeah, how you doing, chaps?
How you doing? Nice with us. Thank you very much for joining us tonight.
No problem.
Weekend FA Cup. What are your thoughts on it?
Oh, what can I say? We're still on cloud 9, mate. You know, it's been the last 4 or 5 weeks really. It seems like we've had an FA Cup final every week, and you know, obviously what we've achieved so far, we would never have dreamt of, and we just can't. It's not. I don't think it's sunk in, to be fair, mate. We're just looking forward to Saturday.
Hunty,
I presume you've done some homework. What do you know about them?
We know that they're a team that you should show respect to, definitely. Our gaffers let us know that it's going to be a tough game, and they've shown that by the results they got. My mate Lee Steele played against you last week, And even he told me that it's not going to be a walkover at all. So, like I said, we've gone out with giving them respect, and we have gone at this game exactly the same as any other game. And we know that if we take our eye off the ball once, then we could get punished.
Dan, have you got any names for us? Any of the danger men that could cause Crawley an upset?
Well, you know, to be fair, we're at the ground now. Funny enough, the guys are we've let them go on the pitch tonight, which in this weather is not great for us. But they're out there training, and it looks like they're going for a sort of 9 at the back, 1 in the middle, 1 up front. You know, for I think for about 90 minutes, and then we'll look to catch them on the break, and you know, hopefully nick the win.
Well, obviously, financially, the FA Cup is very important to professional clubs, but I suppose this is more so for yourself.
Yeah, without a doubt. You know, I mean, it's sort of we're on the borderline now. I mean, the money that we've won already is going to be a huge help to the club to give us a bit of stability now for the next couple of years at least, and help us reinvest into the club, which we're constantly doing, and improving the facilities, which badly needs doing. But and then the other side of the coin, we're right on the verge of something life changing, because if we did produce what is probably the impossible, it's dreams could come true, as it did for Crawley last season. And I think the Crawley chairman probably he had the success last season, and they had a tremendous run and that great game against Man United, and I'm sure they've got the rewards for it this season with the team that they've managed to now get together.
Dan, out of interest, how many Redbridge fans will be making the trip to Crawley?
Well, I think we'll be 20 strong.
Big day, big day.
It depends how many cars we can get together, to be fair. But no, we've had one of the biggest positives is the coverage that the club has got from this. It's been great exposure for the club, and every week now we've started to see a few new faces around, and I'm hoping that I know we've got at least a couple of coaches going up there. So one way or another, wherever we're placed in the ground, you'll hear us, and they'll give the boys as much encouragement as possible.
Dan, do you know what the figures we're talking for you to progress to the next round? How much we're looking at?
Oh, well, I know it was 18,000 for the round that we just won against Oxford City, and I believe it's between 25 to 28. But obviously, on top of that, then you've got your sort of TV exposure, and I'm actually very, quite disappointed that the game didn't get any TV exposure, because I think it's a game that everybody's looking at and excited about. But unfortunately, ITV went elsewhere. But it's massive money to a club like us, and as I said, another round and being in that draw against possibly a championship side or premiership side, it's what dreams are made of, isn't it?
Well, knowing what footballers are like, I'm imagining half of them have come knocking on your door, seeing what their bonuses are going to be like for winning this game. Am I right?
Well, I wouldn't say knocking on the door, because we ain't got an office here, but it's certainly it's certainly a text every day and an email every day, with a different incentive and a bonus for everybody. And we've had a few jokes as we've gone through the rounds that they wanted Lads Vegas, and I promised them Bads Vegas, and so I've still got to honour that one. So they'll have a nice trip to Basildon probably after the weekend. But we're going to do our best. Obviously we don't want to. We want to keep our feet on the ground, and this money will enable the club to be, as I said, to have a bit of stability for another 2 or 3 years. So I don't want to just go and spend it all the next day. As much as the players would love me to do that, but we'll look after them in some shape or form.
Dan, thank you very much for your time. All the best for the weekend. I hope to speak to you soon.
No problem. Thanks for your coverage.
Let's take a break. Back shortly for part 4 in the basement. Nearly there, guys. Okay. Most people, supporters and whatnot, they like to know if you've got a team that you support as a child. David?
Yeah, I support Arsenal. My mum and dad have. Most of my family have. And when I go to watch them play, which is rare these days because they're playing at the same time, then that's my one chance to be a football fan.
So how do you feel when you go to a game? Do you watch it as a fan or do you watch it as a footballer?
I start to watch it as a footballer and end up watching it as a fan, shouting Madoff. I remember Cesc scoring against Barca, penalty, and I filmed it even and put it on YouTube, going mad. So yeah, I'll try and make the most of it.
So David supports Arsenal. Richard, who are you a fan of?
Well, yeah, as a kid, it was always Man United, and it was a case of 3 years old. My dad bought me a shirt, and that was that. And it was probably one of my dad's proudest moments when I got to play against them, and it was, something that at that time, obviously dreams were made of. But I'd say, in fact, in more recent times, the fact that got such an affinity with Watford and now Brentford, it does kind of change slightly in that obviously you're involved in a club that much more. You know, I'll probably check the Watford and Brentford. Well, in fact, I'm playing the Brentford games. Yeah, I'm just saying this.
Man United lost
someone's
last
like,
night.
yeah, just trying to stay away from. Right. No, it's no. I think it changes a bit. You know, when you're involved in a club, you grow that much stronger. Oh, here he is.
So,
how you doing?
Welcome, Mr. Bumble. How are we doing? This is for those of you at home. This is the Barnet mascot. Unfortunately, we can't reveal your true identity, but we'll call you Mr. Bumble. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks.
I thought for a minute that you weren't going to talk. It was just going to be like hand gestures or something.
Yeah, I'm limited like that though, aren't I?
I actually don't know where to look at you either. Do I look at the eyes or the nose?
In the eyes.
Okay, in the eyes, right.
So I believe you won the Mascot Grand National. Talk us through that.
Yeah, I'm currently the reigning champion.
I think we've got that on VT, so as that comes on, just talk us through it.
Right, okay, yes, my third season, got invited to do the mascot race. Come fifth, fourth, and then my third year actually won the race. So yeah, great to take a trophy back to Barnet. Just sitting there on its own amongst not many others at the minute.
Here's a clip of it now. Obviously, we're seeing mascots from how many different clubs are we seeing them? Is there one represented from each club?
It's mascots from all not just sporting events. Anyone that's got a mascot basically can enter this. Bit of controversy this year. The Football League, some mascots boycotted it because they wanted it solely for Football League mascots.
There you are, just coming to picture now, looking like you've got a decent technique over those hurdles. You can tell you've been in training.
Yeah, see, the trouble is you can't. Your eyes are so far ahead of your own eyes. You can't. You sort of got to guess where the jumps are.
Are there any falls?
And it's very windy. It's blowing my head off, so I run one-handed as well.
So in the hierarchy of mascots, where are bees in terms, level with giraffe,